Okay, hello everybody. Um, if you're watching live, go ahead and say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the replay, if you could just type in the chat #replay, whatever platform you're watching on. I do circle back around and read those comments. Today, we're going to be talking about how to overcome distractions that kill productivity. So it's a great topic. I think a lot of people can relate, and good, well, I was gonna say good morning or good, depend on which time zone you're in, but thank you so much for being here today. And if you're anything like me, you know, the frustration of sitting down to work and then suddenly realizing that an hour has passed and you barely made a dent in your to-do list, that you just scrolled social media or checked email or something like that. Anybody relate to that? Put in the chat if you can relate to wasting time when you should be working. And if you watch the replay, do the same thing. I mean, distractions are everywhere, from social media notifications to random thoughts to that craving for another cup of coffee. Our attention is constantly being pulled in 100 directions. But here's the good news: distractions, they may be inevitable, but they are not unbeatable. Today, we're going to explore practical strategies to overcome those distractions that kill productivity, so you can reclaim your focus and get more done in less time. So if you are new to me, I'm Cindy Baker. I am a productivity coach, a former educator, an ADHD expert, and I help entrepreneurs overcome overwhelm and manage their time, their energy, and their focus so they can scale their businesses. And we talked about scaling business recently. So if you missed that, you can go back and watch the replay. But before we can overcome distractions, we need to understand them, right? What's really going on when you get distracted? At its core, distraction is your brain's way of seeking relief, right? It's relief from boredom, from stress, or even from something as simple as a task that feels too big to tackle, right? And there are two main types of distractions. External, those are things like, you know, phone notifications, noisy environment, people interrupting you, and internal distractions. These are thoughts and emotions that bubble up inside you. You know, your racing thoughts, that type of thing. Do you ever start worrying about a conversation that you had yesterday while you're supposed to be writing an email today? all that noise in our head, it's a distraction. It's an internal distraction. The truth is, we often can't eliminate all distractions, but we can manage how we respond to them. And that's what we're going to focus on today, how we respond to distractions. Because there is a cost. Let's talk about that, the cost of distractions. Research shows that it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds, I know, to refocus after being interrupted. That means every time you're distracted, you're losing not just the moment of interruption, but almost half an hour of your productive time. So imagine how that adds up over a day, over a week, over a year. Beyond time, distractions drain your energy. Constantly, you know, switching between tasks, it makes your brain tired, makes your brain work harder, leaving you feeling exhausted, where you don't feel like you've accomplished much. And let's not forget the mental toll of unfinished tasks piling up. It creates a lot of stress, and that feeling of being behind, that feeling of overwhelm. But here's the thing: once you become aware of the cost, you're in a better position to fight back. So let's talk about some practical strategies to overcome distractions. This is where we're going to get into the good stuff. Some practical strategies. These tips are practical, actionable, and designed to help you regain control of your focus. Number one, identify your biggest distractions. Simple, right? First, you spend a day or two tracking what distracts you the most. Think about it. Is it your phone, email, people dropping by your workspace? Or maybe it's internal, like overthinking or perfectionism or daydreaming. Awareness is the first step in making a change. So first is just to identify. Second, think about your environment. You want to create a distraction-free environment because your environment plays a huge role in your ability to focus. So you want to declutter your workspace. You want to silence your phone. You can use tools like noise-canceling headphones or apps that block distracting websites, but set yourself up for success. You can do that. You have control over many of those things. And then use the power of time blocking. I've talked about time blocking a lot. Now, rigid time blocking doesn't work for people with ADHD, but that doesn't mean you don't do it at all. Time blocking is still very, very effective. It's actually a game changer for many people. You schedule specific blocks of time for focused work, and then you stick to them. During those blocks, you eliminate all non-essential activities and you focus on one task. You start with shorter blocks, like maybe 25 minutes. And you can use the Pomodoro technique, which I've explained before, and then gradually increase as you build your focus muscle. Now, you have to also manage the internal distractions. And one way that I have found that is super effective for me is to practice what I call the brain dump. That's when your mind starts wandering, you just grab a piece of paper and you jot down the thought. It's usually something that I forgot, or I want to make sure I don't forget to do, or whatever, and I write it down. Maybe it's something that's worrying me that I need to deal with later. Write it down. But it gets it out of your head and then onto paper. And so your brain just knows that it's there. So you don't have to constantly feel like you got to remember it. And then you can address it later without interrupting your flow. So you just get it all out of your head onto paper. And then every time you get an interrupting thought, you just write it down and go right back to what you were working on. And you got to set boundaries with people. I mean, let's face it, people can be some of the biggest distractions. Maybe you're a distraction to other people, but learn to set clear boundaries. For example, let colleagues or family know when you're in focus mode. By you can put a sign on the door. You can just tell them. You can wear headphones. I'm at home. I tell my husband I'm about to, go online, and I'm going to also be recording it. So don't come in. If you hear me talking to myself, don't come in the room and make noise. So he knows that, right? Same with him. If he's working on something, he tells me I need to focus on this. But use those boundaries and then optimize your energy levels. We're not machines. Our energy goes up and down throughout the day. So pay attention to when you're naturally more alert and schedule your most important work during those peak times. And for many people, that's mid-morning or early afternoon. I'm pretty useless late afternoon. I'm kind of sleepy. I could meet with people on Zoom, but I can't necessarily write content or things like that. Now, mindfulness, we've talked about that before, but multitasking is a myth. So every time you switch tasks, you lose focus and efficiency. So think about being mindful of just doing one thing, and embrace single tasking instead of multitasking. Pair that with mindfulness practices like taking deep breaths or short meditation to center yourself before starting a task. And I'm not trying to get all woo-woo on you. I just mean pay attention to what you're supposed to be doing in the moment. And for me, sometimes just taking a couple of deep breaths helps me to do that, because I get all wound up, as I say, and that calms me down a little bit. It helps me focus. And then reward yourself. Don't forget to reward yourself for staying focused. After completing a challenging task or finishing a project, take a short break, grab a snack, or do something that you enjoy. Positive reinforcement goes a long way in building good habits. So let's address the elephant in the room, and that's setbacks. Even with the best strategies, you're going to get distracted sometimes, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Now, my coaching clients know this is one of my favorite mantras, is progress over perfection. When you catch yourself getting distracted, don't beat yourself up. Instead, just gently bring your focus back to the task at hand and then keep moving forward. Remember, overcoming distractions is a skill that takes practice. This is not something that you're born knowing how to do. The more you work on it, the stronger your focus muscle becomes. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your ability to focus is one of the most valuable skills that you can develop. It doesn't matter if you have ADHD. A lot of people who follow me have ADHD. It's a learned skill, and you can learn it. The difference with you, if you have ADHD, is that you've got to figure out how to work with the way your brain is wired. That's one of the things that I help with in my coaching program. But it's not just about getting more done. It's about creating the life that you want to live. By managing distractions, you can free up your time, you can reduce stress, and then you can make room for what really matters. So if you're interested in getting some help, I encourage you to reach out and let's book a call. Reach out and let me know that you want my calendar link, and we'll schedule a time. We'll get on Zoom. I'll be a sounding board for you. You can tell me what you're doing well with and what you're struggling with. If it makes sense to join my coaching program, then I'll let you know about that, and you can ask questions. If not, then you'll get some free advice. So I do like, I can't do it all the time, but I do like occasionally to meet with the people who are watching these trainings, because it helps me to know a little bit more about what your struggles are. So which strategy are you going to try first? Maybe it's time blocking? Is it decluttering your workspace, setting better boundaries? I challenge you to pick one tip and start implementing it today. Maybe it's reaching out to me and saying that you want to book a call. It doesn't cost anything, and you don't have to buy anything unless it makes sense for you. But maybe that's your next step. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, if you're just popping on here at the end, I'm Cindy Baker. I'm a productivity coach and ADHD strategist, and I work with entrepreneurs and other creative professionals to overcome overwhelm and manage your time, your energy, and your focus so you can grow your business. Remember, focus is your superpower, and you have everything that you need to harness it. So let's go out there and get more done and focus. I'll see you next time. Bye.